Hi friends, this is Padre. Back in fall of 2019, I made a Halloween video for a network that was known as Briar Report Television, or BRTV. Sadly, since then, BRTV has gone away, although its parent entity, Briar Report, is still going strong. In fact, you can visit them at briarreport.com and briarreport.org. Today, I'm re-releasing my 2019 BRTV Halloween video special here on the virtual airwaves of YouTube and our YTPC community. In this video, I show off my Peterson Dracula 999, as well as a couple other Halloween pipes, and I give a chat about the history of Halloween and its connection to both paganism and Christianity. Again, going all the way back to 2019, I do hope you enjoy this video.
Coming to you via the virtual airwaves of BRTV from the Big Easy in Louisiana, bringing you his philosophy and insight on life and all things pipe and premium tobacco related. Please welcome your host, Padre Piper.
BRTV, Briar Report Television, Padre Piper coming to you via the virtual airwaves of the interwebs to say hello. I hope you're doing well. Bringing you my spooky Halloween special. No, nothing all that spooky about it. Thought I'd enjoy a pipe with you guys, and I think this is probably, I think it is my first full-fledged video on BRTV. I had a little brief intro video, but this is the first one that'll be a little longer than a minute or so, and enjoying today some house cleaning and my BRTV mug, which you can also get online at briarreport.org. Some black coffee. That is nothing new for old Padre. Also enjoying this here pipe, and this first part of this video I'm making today, I'm really giving a shout out to Eric the Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, because he did a wonderful video a couple of weeks ago on YTPC about Halloween pipes. And you know, this is the time of the year, the air is getting a little cooler and crisper, and it's just, I think for folks who aren't even year-round pipe smokers, they may own a pipe or something and they pull it out in the fall. It's just something about this time of the year, the weather, the environment, it just it lends itself to enjoying this hobby of ours. And he was talking, and I think he made this video before he acquired his pipe like this. What is this? This is a Peterson Dracula, and he has since picked one up. This is a 999, and Eric has a beautiful one almost exactly like this. The only difference is he has the sandblasted finish, and or I don't know if they call it rusticate, I'm not sure. It's not a smooth finish, and I have this smooth finish on mine. This is a beautiful stem work. I think that's what really attracts people to this particular pipe by Peterson, and it's just a fun pipe, given its name, Dracula, particularly this time of the year as we prepare to head into this Halloween season. Contrary to what you might have read in the Briar Report BRTV guide, you do not need 3D glasses to watch this Spooktacular special. In fact, it's not even all that scary. It's a beautiful day when I'm recording this. My only hope is it was a little breezy. I had done a Facebook live video for church earlier today out in the parking lot, and it was so windy it messed up the mic. I hope that's not the case where I'm positioned now, and it does seem like the breeze has died down a little bit. So along those lines, this pipe, one of the things that Eric talked about was a company called RNA Treasures, and you can find them on eBay, as well as they have an Instagram. And one of the things that they sell are briar pipes they're not great. They're not high quality. They're not, but they have these Halloween type pipes. And when Eric put these up, I just found them fascinating. So I looked up RNA treasures and ended up getting a couple of quote unquote Halloween pipes from them. These are, all they say is Italy. It's a briar pipe, and I think they sold for $12 each before shipping. This one is, you can see it's a skeleton, and this one here, kind of a, what is it, a devil's face, right? A demon face. I haven't smoked either one of these, and I doubt I will. I don't know. I mean, they feel fine. They look like they might be okay smokers. They don't take a filter. I think it's more of a it's just something a little fun to have on Halloween. I think Eric was planning on maybe using one of these, and then he scored himself a Peterson Dracula, so I know what he's smoking on Halloween. So that was a good rec. Eric, the Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, thanks for that send over to RNA Treasures. Look, I have no dog in the race. I don't even know who those people are, but I did buy a couple of pipes off of them just for fun, for kicks and giggles. I'm smoking in my Peterson Dracula today. Some of this here. For those of you who might not recognize it if you're newer to the hobby, this is what was called Frog Morton. That's a McClellan blend, and of course it ain't there no more. And this is across the pond, and of all the McClellan Frog Morton line, across the pond was the first to ain't be there no more, as we say down here in New Orleans, because it had in it Syrian Latakia. And once the Syrian Latakia was gone, there went that particular blend. So, I wanted to talk about for a few minutes today is Halloween. And it's interesting because obviously I'm a Christian, and I respect folks who disagree with me on this, who are also of the faith. But there are Christians who don't think that Halloween has any place in the life of a Christian or Christian children or Christian families and such. There are churches that are like that too. In fact, you'll see there are churches and Christian schools and such who won't acknowledge Halloween. They don't do a Halloween party for the kids or whatever because of there is a sort of a connection, if you will, particularly through Hollywood and such, to Halloween and gore and blood and violence and even satanic activity and such, but that it has its roots in paganism and that sort of thing. So I can totally respect that. I just don't, for me personally, I don't hold to that simply because, as I said in a previous video on YTPC, for the argument that people say Halloween is the devil's day, I say nonsense. The devil doesn't have any days. The scriptures tell us this is the day the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. That's our job. We're just to rejoice. The devil's defeated. Now, having said that, the devil is, we're still in a fallen world, and so the devil is real, folks. That is truth. I believe that. But he doesn't have a day. He doesn't have a day. And it's interesting. I want to give you a brief little history about Halloween, and maybe you've never even thought about this. Maybe it's not something that you've thought through, that, well, why would some Christians have a problem with Halloween? Or how can a Christian not have a problem with Halloween? In order for us to truly understand this, we have to understand, in my opinion, another holiday, an actual holy day, and that is the holy day of November 1st. November 1st on the Christian calendar in the Western Church anyway, since, I don't know, maybe since like the 600s or so, has been set aside as something called All Saints Day. All Saints Day, before it was on November 1st, it was elsewhere on the liturgical calendar, but again, we're talking 1600 plus years ago. So for a long time, it's been November 1. And All Saints Day was originally set aside to be a day for the church to celebrate those Christians who gave their life for the faith. In other words, martyrs. Those martyrs who had laid down their life, not denying Christ. The reason that date came about, or the need for that date, was in the days of the early church, each local bishop was allowed to set aside a date for someone under his jurisdiction that might have died fighting for the faith or not denying Christ. And so that martyr would be honored. They would have their own feast day, so to speak, where they were remembered, and they were put up as an example of the true Christian life. The church only needs to be a few hundred years old before you get a ton of people who have been killed for being Christian. And so what you have then is the church universal deciding what we need is one particular day to honor all of these folks. And that's how All Saints Day originally comes about. Now, that's clearly a Christian distinction, All Saints Day. You say, well, what does that have to do with Halloween, other than the fact that October 31st, the day before November 1st, is the day set aside for Halloween? All right, well, there's a point where Christianity is spreading throughout the world. One of the places it's spreading is through pagan lands, and in particular, Britain and Europe, England, that part of the world, which had a was highly influenced by the Celtic pagans, right? So Christianity goes about converting people. That's fine, but the church comes up against this sort of cultural pushback. Every little piece of the world has its own individual little cultures and such, and some of that pagan stuff, well, it didn't go away very easily. And there was actually a pagan festival that it was a 3-day festival that ran from roughly October 31st to through November 2nd. And again, folks, we're talking about the 600s or so, right? When this is really kind of coming to a head with Christianity. And the name of that festival was Samhain. It's not spelled Samhain. It's from the Gaelic, I guess, tongue, Celtic tongue. It would look like it would be Samhain, Samhein, but it's pronounced Samhain. And basically, this was the last harvest of the crops for the year. So it was an end of year and New Year celebration. I mean, we do that December 31st, January 1st, right? We have New Year's Eve, we have New Year's Day. And in this pagan culture, that's what they did, but it revolved around the fact that they were an agricultural society. So it was their last chance to really harvest the crops before the dead of winter would set in. And so they would harvest these crops. They would also cull the herds. And what I mean by that is you've got animals that are either your work animals and or your food. And some of the weaker or older ones are not going to survive the winter, so you make good use of them and you sacrifice those. Literally sacrifice them so you can eat them, not necessarily sacrificing them to a pagan god. And so you have this time of the year, this 3-day festival going on where all that's happening. You've got these skeletons hanging around from these dead animals and such. And then there's all kind of pagan ritual wrapped up into that too, that these druids, as they were, believed in divination. They believed that this was the time of the year that they could have folks either foretell the future, or they could get in touch with the spiritual realm and be able to find out what the future is for the next year, how good their harvest was going to be, and those sorts of things. So you see this kind of spooky pagan druid culture that is being confronted by this new way of doing things, this thing called Christianity that's coming in. And Christianity has been pretty good historically, particularly back then, of going into cultures and sort of co-opting the calendar. And so that's what happens in a way with this New Year's festival, this pagan festival of the harvest, the end of fall, the beginning of winter, the last chance to get these crops, this thing associated with death, of winter coming and such. Halloween actually is contraction. It's for a longer phrase, which is All Hallows Eve, October 31st being the eve of a holy day, All Saints Day. So you have All Hallows Eve becoming Halloween, Halloween sort of getting left over even in the Christian realm of things in Britain and such, with these cultures, and All Saints Day kind of being accepted. But you can see how this stuff just continues to mix and mingle. If you fast forward lots of years, it's not really until the mid to late 19th century that Halloween as a secular holiday becomes a big thing in the United States of America. And how does it become such a big thing? Folks from the British Isles actually immigrating over here and bringing that custom with them. Now, when the pagans were doing their 3-day festival and such, they partied. I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening there. There was drunkenness and I mean, think about Times Square on New Year's Eve. You think there's some drunk people there? Yeah. So there was a lot of partying going on and such, and you can see how that carries over into even today in America in the 21st century with Halloween and such. I don't endorse that. I don't, people don't need an excuse to party and drink. They'll do it anyway and get drunk and all that stuff. And look, I'm not a teetotaler. I think you know what I'm saying here. There's a line you draw. But we do know that Halloween can be one of those party days for a lot of people, even to this day. And it was back then. Back, when these Druids were having their festivals. They were getting drunk. They were trying to speak with spirits and all this stuff. So you see this kind of meshing. And I can understand why some Christians are a little queasy about that kind of an association and such. I'm going to tell you where, and again, I don't have that problem. I would never separate. Fact is, I had a great conversation on my YTPC video with Daddy's Daycare, who is a fantastic member of the community, a wonderful Christian man. I've watched this guy's videos. He's good. And we see this differently about Halloween, and we had a wonderful discussion about it, very respectfully. And, I respect his opinion. I would never try to force my opinion about this on him, and I'm not trying to change his mind. He didn't try to change my mind. He told me where he was coming from. I kind of explained where I was coming from. It was a good discussion. I told him, in fact, in our communications in the comments, I wish there were a way for us to kind of like be on this video together where we could have this talk and discussion and people could see that just because you disagree with somebody about something doesn't mean they can't still be your friend. Doesn't even mean they can't still be your brother or sister in Christ. We're allowed to have some differences, folks. It's okay. Our society, unfortunately, seems to be slipping further and further away from that. But I digress. But so, Christians have different opinions on this. I'm going to tell you what we're doing over here at my church. We're going to hold this Sunday night, the 27th of October. We're doing what's called Trunk or Treat. You've probably heard of it. Lots of churches and schools do it and such. Here's our little invite. And we're opening up the facilities, the parking lot, to the entire community to come on over and join us for a little fun from 6 to 8 p.m. Just party. Kids are going to get free candy. We're going to sugar them up and send them home for their parents to deal with and such. Not so much as an alternative to Halloween or trick-or-treating, because it's not even a Halloween day. Just a community activity where we can say, hey, we're the church, and you might not be a member of our church. You might not even be a member of any faith, or you might be a member of a different faith. It's all right. Come on over and, let's shake hands and let's say hi and such. So that's how we use it. We're actually going to even have a booth set up by the Gideons. They're going to be there to pass out Bibles, so we can use it as an evangelistic sort of event. Nobody's going to be in anybody's face throwing a Bible at them, but it's there if people have questions. We just make that available. I'm going to tell you, I think I might have started to say this. I want to circle back to what is my problem with some Christians who have a problem with Halloween. It's that I don't think that they've, some haven't fully thought it through. For instance, I have seen in my area churches who refuse to acknowledge, won't even use the word Halloween, but what they'll have is Fall Fest or Harvest Fest or something along those lines. And when you speak with them, they have very heartfelt reasons for this, very devout reasons for this. I respect that. I just don't think it's well thought out. Because eventually what they're going to tell you is we don't want to be affiliated or associated with the paganism that tends to currently be associated with Halloween or tends to have in the Halloween history. To which I would say, Harvest Fest or Fall Fest really is a pagan term. That's what the pagans were holding, folks. Whereas Halloween actually means All Hallows Eve. It's the eve of a holy day where we remember the saints who have gone on before us, in particular those who have laid down their life for the faith. Now, it's also a fun day. It's, Halloween is not a high holy day, somber or anything. It's fun. Up there's church bells. It never fails, and they're loud where I am right now. So I don't know if I should keep talking and splice this out later, or what I should do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the opportunity to relight my pipe, grab a sip from my BRTV mug, and tamp down on my pipe, and we'll pick it up from there. Oh look, it was only 1 o'clock. Good. Frog Morton across the pond. And black coffee. So anyway, I know maybe I've been all over the place in this video. That's what friends do over a pipe, right? I had an opportunity to tell you a little bit about the history of Halloween as I understand it. How it actually, it's got some roots in paganism. It's been co-opted by Hollywood, and the Satanists have picked up on it, and come on, people. It's a reality. If you're not comfortable with it, God bless you, I understand. But my perspective on it is I'm going to give kids candy when they come trick-or-treating. Our church is going to do that this Sunday. We're going to invite kids to come on over. We're going to throw some popcorn. We have one of those big theater popcorn machines. We're going to give out popcorn. We're going to give out candy. And we're just going to have a grand time. In fact, we're having a costume contest for kids under the age of 12. First place is winning, first, second, and third place are all winning gift cards too. I'm not going to say the name. I don't like endorsing, but it's a company that provides pizza. And we've actually got a couple of celebrity judges, some local folks from the news media, a weatherman and an anchorman, and they're going to be serving as the celebrity judges for the kids' costume contest. So we're just making a fun time out of it. What are you doing for Halloween? Do you have a special pipe that you're going to smoke? Do you not call it Halloween? Is it just another day for you? Are you going to take the kids out trick-or-treating? Are you going to give out treats? Are you going to turn your lights off at home and when kids do happen to come by, scream out the window, get off my lawn? I'm curious. I'm just wondering how other folks are celebrating this particular day, or just this particular time. Again, down here we finally got a little taste of fall. It's a beautiful day. It's a crisp, cool day, not too cold, not too hot. Skies are blue. It's a wonderful day to just sit out in your patio, enjoy a cup of hot black coffee and a bowl of something good. And that's what I'm doing today in my Peterson Dracula. I think I have probably rambled long enough in this particular BRTV video, so I'm going to sign off for now. If you did send off your money for those 3D glasses for this particular Halloween Spooktacular special, Phil from Briar Report will get those over to you. Padre wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings.